I respect conservative Republicans. I don't respect these MAGA Republicans.
Well, that was President Biden last week taking a swipe at Trump supporters during an event in Maryland that was billed as a so-called unity rally. Yeah. All right. So he used even darker language earlier in the day at a fundraiser that has drawn severe criticism. Here's what the president said. What we're seeing now is either the beginning or the death knell of an extreme MAGA philosophy. It's not just Trump, it's the entire philosophy that underpins that I'm going to say something. He said it's like semi-fascism.
I actually agree with him in part that Joe Biden has been consistent. He's always had this underlying part of his personality that is basically just a jerk. And the more that he experiences some of his own decline with his mental faculties, the more that just jerkiness comes out. This is more hateful than the worst thing that Donald Trump ever said. And it's being said about tens of millions of Republicans.
This is the most hateful thing that anyone's ever said, including Donald Trump. And you see at the end of that whole sentence there, she said, it's being said about Republicans. So like many conservatives, it's okay if we do these types of things. But once you talk about Republicans, and in this case, pretty accurately, we're gonna have a problem. There's an old saying that says, a kick dog will holler. We're gonna get to a whole bunch of hollering in a second. Because first, let's go through these horrible things that Biden may have just said with semi-fascism versus that calm, mild-mannered Donald Trump. He's never said anything hateful, has he?
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
He appeared to mock a reporter with a disability. Take a look.
Written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Oh, maybe that's what I said. This is 14 years ago. They didn't do a retraction.
Just a little sample. I think you guys were probably expecting that whole series to go about 5 minutes worth of horrific things Trump has said about people or has called people names. In fact, the entire Republican Party, socialists, communists, tree huggers, weaklings, softies. I mean, how many more names can you throw at folks? But in fact, they're dangerous all at the same time too. Anyways, let's continue on because look, Mercedes Schlapp, who's also her husband is the head of CPAC. And she's also part of that whole organization and leadership as well. She had this to say, they're still hollering, watch.
So I think for the Democrats, I would reevaluate these talking points, especially when Joe Biden's going out there calling those MAGA Republicans semi-fascist. I mean, that is a complete insult and something that I think is anti-American. And really, he is no longer the one that is a unifier in this country.
Notice the language continue talking about the unifier because they keep saying the unifier, as if they want that. But anyways, Mercedes Schlapp, again, part of CPAC, is upset that someone's calling their party and their group semi-fascist when they invite this guy to CPAC to speak. Viktor Orban of Hungary, of course. And he talks about many semi-fascist things. In fact, many people would categorize him as completely fascist, as he's anti-immigrant, anti-diversity. And it's all about promoting the pure European blood. And takeovers and anger and anti-democracy, all that good stuff the Republicans are surrounding themselves with. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that we actually host a fascist. That you call us that is the problem. Charlie Kirk had a problem with it too. More hollering.
We have to remain peaceful on our side. But I do think that if they're gonna escalate the language, then game on. Like, okay, if you're gonna call us a bunch of fascists, we're not gonna take that anymore. You're the fascist, Joe Biden, and there's other words we could use as well. We're not gonna be like, well,
use those words, Charlie. Use those words, bro. So they're screaming, they're hollering, they're upset, they're mad, Jessica, because Joe Biden used the term semi-fascist.
Insane. And the way Biden says it, it's not funny, anything that's going on in our country right now. But the way Biden said it, he's just this blank stare, like he's done a magic trick. He's like semi-fascist. And then he just pauses. It's really funny the delivery on that. It's pretty good. But yeah, what's worse than calling someone a fascist? I don't know, maybe being a fascist. And it's very clear if you define the word fascist, all of the key tenets apply to Donald Trump and the far right in the United States. An authoritarian economy in the United States, corporations control our economy. That's pretty clear. Those same people have outsized control of the state. National economic self-sufficiency. They're super isolationists. All of this America First rhetoric. They don't want us to work with other countries or have people coming in from other countries. A dictatorial leader. They want Donald Trump to remain president despite not being democratically elected to be president. Then this one is happening a lot right now, the subordination of individual interests for the better of society or the state. Huge key tenet of fascism. We're seeing our religious freedom taken away, our reproductive freedom taken away. They're trying to burn books, and the list goes on. So I don't know if Biden's going far enough by just saying semi when all of the key tenets apply. On top of this, they're extremely racist, right? And so just because his base, Donald Trump's base, has no idea that they're voting for their freedoms being taken away doesn't mean the movement isn't fascist. Like, yes, they're being tricked. And the last thing I'll say about this is, they call liberals, mainstream liberals, commies, they call them socialists. And by making the center seem like the far left, our country is just effectively always on the right. If you talk to anybody in any other country, they'll tell you this. It's very obvious to them. But even Biden saying they're only semi-fascist is playing into that exact skewed political spectrum.
It's not far enough to exactly who they are. Totally, I was thinking that. I said, you know what? Honestly, the only criticism you could have is this is a bit of a half truth. They're semi-fascist. What's a semi-fascist? Which part of fascism do they not agree to? And there's other parts that they do. In order to be 50-50 on it. Yeah, the crying will continue, but I hope he just keeps continue telling the truth. Maybe the whole truth next time.